Welcome to Do the Talk podcast. Today is Friday, and as we've always been saying on this podcast, we are committed and we are here to make sure real estate investment is seamless as much as possible. My name is Ibrahim. I am your host. Ahmed is the co-host tonight. We and this is not a quick rich. I mean, this is not a get rich quick scheme. We've always been saying this, but if you follow us, put in the work, learn from Do the Talk, you will definitely get to your financial freedom. And the dream to be financially independent, to have enough sufficient time for your family and your co-worker, your friends, and to have abundant time to do whatever you want in this life. Real estate investment can create that opportunity where you have that time to take care of what is the most important to you. Everyone has what is important to them alongside the family responsibility and everything. We can guarantee that with real estate, if you focus on real estate, you invest, you learn how to do it, you become expert in that field, you will be financially independent. Because real estate, it has been proven to be a sustainable, a legit way to become financially independent. Ahmed, it is another Friday. How are you doing today?
I'm doing fantastic, Ibrahim. Thank you for starting us off. It is another Friday, guys, and thank you for joining us. If you are looking to invest in real estate, this is absolutely the right room to be. We've proven our commitment. It's been over a year straight that we've been doing this, and it's not easy. Consistency is why a lot of people are a failure today. So we've proven that to you, and we've been able to sustain that consistency level for one reason, because we are 100% sure we are a believer of real estate investment. We know it, we've seen it, and we know what it can do to you, what it can do for you, and how it is a easy way. You don't have to have a master degree, you don't have to be a doctor, you don't have to you don't have to be anything special to make real estate work for you. You can be the dumbest in the room, you can be the stupidest in the room, and still become a successful real estate investment. All you need to do is keep showing up, keep learning, and keep your open minded. All right. Without further delay, so today it's a very interesting topic. We've done this before, but we decided to bring it back because it is, one of the easiest strategy to get yourself to the goal of owning multiple rental property, having a portfolio of real estate, buying apartment complexes, and all that. Is it's not that easy to gather some money in the bank and save it up, but it is easy to leverage the assets you bought long time ago, which is how can you use the equity, the money you already achieved by your property appreciating, to build up this huge portfolio, to build to buy yourself financial freedom. That is what we're going to be talking about today. And the person that is going to be starting us up is very knowledgeable about this, very passionate. He has done this before, by the way. So he's not just telling you, he has done it. Likewise, myself. So let's go. Ibrahim, how can people use real estate equity that they already have to scale up, grow, and then buy themselves financial freedom? Is that even possible?
Yeah, thank you, Ahmed. Yeah, it is very possible, 100%. So equity, first of all, I want us to know what is equity. Equity is the amount of money that your house has appreciated over the time period of maybe 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, you know, and you can count on 5, 6, up to 30 years. Equity is, for example, it is the amount, the difference between the debt that you hold the bank or the mortgage company and the value the market value of that property. For example, if your property it's worth 350,000 and your debt currently is 129,000 or 149,000, okay? So it means you have a chunk of equity. Now, what can you do with that equity, or what is the equity doing? Because the truth is that chunk of equity, if you don't put it into work, it's just going to sit there. What is the implication? What is the benefit to you as a homeowner or landlord when you have equity that is sitting without being productive? It's like you have a money somewhere and the money is sitting, the money you should have used or you can use to become financially independent, and you let it sit there just because you uh maybe you don't have that knowledge on how what to use it for, or maybe because you are scared. And when I say scared, I mean some people are scared because they are not completely informed about what that equity can do for them, or how it can change their life, how it can get them to that financially get them financially independent. So today, what we are going to focus on is what can you do with that equity, and is it even usable? Can you use it? The answer is yes, you can use it. So if you have a house that worth 350,000, okay, and your debt is 150,000, it means you have $200,000 equity right there. And with $200,000 equity, you have various options. Okay, there's something called ELOC. There's something called home equity loan. Now, if you already done your assignment because you've been coming to do the top podcast, you know what to do. Okay, it means you are free to use any of the loan. You can use home equity loan. You can use ELOC because you already have the knowledge. And I'm not here to tell you which one to pick. It depends on the strategy you are going into and how ready you are to use the equity. So let's say since you have $200, $200,000 equity, of course the bank or the mortgage company will not give you all the 200,000, okay? Because they want a safety, they want to be in a safe spot as well. They know that real estate uh, it is a stable asset. However, the market, nobody can predict what will happen on the market. So technically they want you to have some equity. They just don't want to hand over the old $200,000 to you, because if anything happens, there's a recession or anything like that, then you're gonna be negative on your equity. They don't want that. Okay, so this is how they calculate or how they determine if you can get some of the equity. In this scenario, I'm gonna assume you have good credit. I'm gonna assume because you definitely credit as well. Just like you want to buy a house and you need credit. So I'm gonna assume you have good credit. I'm gonna assume you are working. Okay, so there's a means of a way you are generating income every single month. Okay, so in 350,000, the first thing the bank would do is they're gonna use some bank would go as high as 80%. I've experienced 89% before with Teacher Credit Union. Now they call them Everwise Credit Union. Okay. So let's say it's 80%. Okay. Now it's gonna be 350,000. Okay. Times 80 divided by 100. That will be 280,000. So it means the whole entire amount that the bank can let go from the 350,000 is 280,000. Now, don't forget that you have a debt of 150,000. So the bank will minus 150 from that money. You have 130,000. Now it means because you are working, because you have good credit, because you have good credit profile, because you pay your bill on time, the bank or the mortgage company can loan you $130,000 cash. Remember, I told you the difference between your equity and your debt. I mean, between the market price, which is the value of your home, and your debt was 200,000. But the bank will not give you the 200,000. How do they do the calculation? I'll go over it again. They will go if it's 80%, that is their top max that they are giving out for people who has credit, just like you have. they will do 80% of 350 minus your debt. And in this scenario, 80% is 280 minus your debt of 150,000. It means the bank can loan you 130,000. What can you do with that money? Of course, you you are here with us at Do the Talk. So I want to tell you, you should tell yourself a big congratulations, because all we uh, talk about here is how you can use that money to generate more income. How you can leverage that money. We call it leverage. The whole idea of taking out equity is to make it get you, like, to fetch you more income. You want that cash flow. You want that asset that will continuously produce appreciation, cash flow, and sustainability of the entire business structure. Today we're not going to talk about how you can, how you can keep your business, how you can sustain everything, because that's like property management and everything. But at the same time, if you don't have that asset, if you don't have asset that is well, structured, it's going to weaken other asset, just because, if it's losing money all the time. So that will be the another topic. But what I'm going to focus on today is, when you take that money and use that money to buy a good asset, good location, and you follow a great strategies, because of course we've talked about different strategies on this podcast as well. So use that money to get a good asset. All the money you are making from that from that property is something that, yeah, you're gonna save it, because that one is gonna help you to get another one again. Okay, particularly I'm gonna tell you to buy real estate with that money, because when you buy real estate with that money that is producing, a good cash flow, guess what, that same property, after a few years, it will be ready to also go through the same process, which is refinancing. And depending on the situation, in that market, you know you will determine which one is it, ELOC, is it cash out that you're going to use it for. Why would you use it to buy real estate? If you don't necessarily have to, because there's no law that says when you cash out your money you have to use it to buy real estate. But a reasonable way of doing it is to use that money, to use it and generate more money, because that equity, it is tax free, by the way, because it's a debt. And when you get something like that is tax free, someone who is knowledgeable and not like, I believe you are watching us here, so like you are interested in knowing how to use this kind of money, because such a money, it is something that is you can use to scale up fast. Because when you use that money to buy a good property, for example, if you buy like 2 units, which is a duplex, without 130,000, yes, you can still find a duplex of 130,000. But what will happen is you probably have to do some work on that duplex. Okay, let's say you buy it 130,000, you might have to, walk around, ask for your buddy, talk to people around, and see if you can get some assistance with, helping you to fix the property. Okay, get a good contractor, talk to a good property manager and everything. When the property is fixed, totally fixed, you get people into that property. If you choose, you can still refinance again, or if you have good income, you can refinance, or you pay those people with the rent. Because don't forget, the 130,000, it is tax free. Okay, the two, you bought 2 units, it means one, most likely one rent payment will pay the mortgage on that 130, especially if you buy in a good area. Or better yet, there are also different strategies that you can do that it will fetch you a lot of cash flow at the end of the month, where you can use that extra money to balance out any kind of debt that you have. Imagine you having one because you have a lot of equity, you refinance that property and use that property to buy, I mean, that fund to buy another one. It means you have two properties. Okay. By the way, the first property that you refinance, the equity will not stop. The fact that you took out some money does not mean it's done. No. First of all, the bank has left about 20% equity on that property automatically, which means after a few years, that house will be right for another ELOC or cash out refinance, which is the power of real estate. Okay. Especially if you do it right, which is buying a good area. You want your property to be the middle or the least fancy in a fancy neighborhood. You don't want your property to be the biggest, the most beautiful, the most fancy in a neighborhood. You don't want to do that. So it is possible to buy a house a discounted rate just because the house is one of the ugliest, or I shouldn't say ugly, but less attractive or less huge in size in that neighborhood. And guess what? The other properties in that neighborhood, your property will benefit from their equity. We do sell with by neighborhood. We don't sell by, oh, you cannot just independently say, oh, your property is 500,000 when your neighborhood or a similar home to your home is 400,000. The appraiser won't go through. Okay, so
Yeah.
what am I saying here? Equity, it is a very big factor in expanding, in scaling up your portfolio, because that money, it is a money that you can tap into and use it to buy another property. And by the time you know it, when you do the first one, you stay about 2 or 3 years, another one will be ready to go another, ELOC or home equity loan. By the time you do one, two, three, and about five, you have about 10 or six, or 20. It depends on how aggressive you are. Okay. You have multiple properties and you are getting cash flow from these properties. Let's look at it versus someone who has all this equity. Some people, their house worth 350, but their debt is about 80, 70,000. But that person choose not to do it. Okay. That individual is hoping that one day he's gonna stop paying rent. I mean mortgage. I'm sorry. He's gonna stop paying mortgage. But you on the other side, you've tapped into your equity. You bought another property. You are getting cash flow from that property. After 2, 3 years, you refinance again. You bought another one. Now you have three. And remember, I told you your equity will not stop because you took out the equity. Does not mean your house will not grow. No, it's gonna be the same as long as the neighborhood is growing, the city is growing, the town is growing, the country is growing. Your equity will keep growing.
Yeah.
So by the time the other person, the other individual who is very conservative, who is very scared, who is not informed enough, who is you know um who is not, how do I say this? Who is very pessimistic, who is very
Being conservative. Don't want to take action.
yeah, over conservative, analysis paralysis. That person, before that person realized that realized what's going on, you probably have five houses and he or she is still on one. And you don't necessarily have to do anything extraordinary. All you have to do is tap into equity and use that equity to leverage and buy another one. Keep doing that. That alone will get you multiple houses. Of course, it's not something you do every day. Yeah, it's gonna take it 2, 3, or 4 years, but it's a powerful move to get you to that financial independence in a shorter period of time. Now, can you do ELOC or home equity loan all the time? No, because you have to make sure that it makes sense to do it. You have sufficient amount of equity. The interest rate favors you or still in a good spot for what you are trying to do. And that's why we don't recommend anybody just do e-lock or home equity loan. You have to make sure it's gonna be beneficial to your business. It will get you to that financial independence before you do it. Okay. So Ahmed,
Yeah.
I talked about, and another thing I want to add, sorry, I want to add this. So e-law can also be used, or home equity loan can also be used to consolidate some bad debt. I would prefer you to use that money to buy properties, invest more in real estate, because when you get the second, the third, all of them, you're gonna start snowballing your equity and using it to buy more property and more property, which will get you to that financial freedom faster than you can ever imagine. However, in some situation, you need that money to offset some bad debt. Imagine someone has huge credit card debt, 28% or 26% every month, which I'm talking about the interest. However, you have this chunk of equity in your house that, 150, 200, 110, whatever it is. If you can tap into that and use that money to pay that credit card debt, because that e-lock is probably gonna be 8%. I'm talking about now. It used to be like 4, 5, 6, it might be 8% now. But 8%, if you think about it, is better than 29% or 26%. So there's nothing wrong if you use that money to offset, like pay down those debt. When you pay them down, first of all, you have better credit. Second, if you are lucky and you still have some money from that equity, you can use that to get another property. It might take you, to do some, overtime for 3 months or 4 months. At least it would decrease how much you need to get another property. And the fact that you've used part of that money to pay down your debt, your credit will shoot up. And when your credit go up, you're gonna be in a better spot to buy another property. So in this case, you don't have to really put down all the 130,000, or you can just pay down your debt, your credit shoot up. Whatever is left, if it's 50, 60, or 70, just pay 20% and buy another property. And when you buy another one now, of course, you are now in a better shape. You're getting cash flow from that property. The house also will be appreciating. Now you are set. All you have to do is to wait, keep saving money, keep looking out for opportunity, keep coming to do the top podcast. Um, and when the opportunity comes out, you already know what to do, because you always come here, you always learn with us, uh, and you won't let the opportunity pass you by. So, Ahmed, so there are this good stuff you can do with your equity. You can buy a house, or use it to consolidate some debts and get your credit in a good shape, so you can buy more properties and become this financial independent and all that. But there's also some um, ir- irresponsible way, or I should say irrelevant and not productive way, that people out there, because they have that equity, they want to use it to get something, and I would like us to go over it really. Particularly, I would like you to let us know what are the things that it might not be productive for them to do with their equity, just because that money should really, it will be business, it will be investment sound, or I should say strategically important for them to use that money to get more cash flow and be financially independent, instead of just using it for something that you're about to discuss. Go ahead.
Absolutely, Ibrahim. Thank you for all the the interesting things that you've shared with us today, because you always learn from every day, as long as you
Mhm.
keep an open mind. So thank you for that. Uh, the best thing to do with Equity is to use it to grow, you know, and real estate give you that avenue. Imagine the first house you buy, that is where you are pulling out the equity from. If you have not bought that property years back, you won't have anywhere to pull that equity from. Imagine if you can pull
Yeah.
that equity today and reinvest it. Now you have two houses you can pull equity from in the next few years. If you put that equity in the next few years, now you have equity coming from two houses. You can even buy more. So, and there's this thing about us. I mean, when I say us, our community, as an immigrant, that we have been told big things are for big boys. It is not for you. There's no color when it comes to big dreams. There's nothing that has to do with color, race, gender, religious, country, nationality. There's nothing that have to do with that. I'm talking to someone one day and I was telling them you can actually buy an apartment complex. And the person was looking at me like, you mean the one that we live in, we rent? And I said, yes. You just have to position yourself to to be in a very good spot when that time comes, because opportunity will always knock. So it is good that you are coming to do the talk podcast. So what am I saying is there are a lot of ways to use your equity to grow exponentially. I'm going to make a comment real quick. So exponentially is different from linear. Linear is when you buy one house and you are fearful, you let your fear take over and you let your emotion take over and you just dump all your money in that single property. When I say dump, I've seen people that who said, I want to pay off my house before I do anything else. Why are you doing that? Tell me one single reason you are doing it. It is only in the US that you have 30 years to pay off your mortgage. Nowhere else in the world do this kind of have this kind of opportunity. And you have that opportunity to use other people's money to build your own wealth, and you are still insisting that you want to use your money. Why? Tell me why you are using your money. Of course, your money is limited. You will tap out very soon. I'm not saying it's bad to pay down your mortgage, but think about when you are growing exponentially versus linear. Linear is you buying one in every 20 years. Exponential is you are buying 5, 6 every 10 years, every 5 years, every 2 years. There's nothing wrong in buying 4 houses in a year. People do it. So when you grow exponentially, you are using other people's money. Now, at some point, you will get to a point where you can generate a lot of money and you'll be able to buy a house a week, a house a month. But coming back to your question, Ibrahim, people get, now we are talking about exponential linear. At least they are making a move. It might be different ways. One might be better than the other, but they are making a move. Now people can get ELOC, equity loan, to buy car. Don't get me wrong. If you are going to use that car to transport yourself to where you are making money, if you are going to use that car as a shovel that people come to rent, if you are going to use that car to as a tool for your job, let's say you are a Uber driver, you are a Lyft driver, that car is actually an asset because it is what you are using to generate more money. But when you just want to impress someone that doesn't care about you, doesn't share your view, doesn't share your opinion, after maybe you guys meet once a week, this person never think about you, and you want to impress them, you get your HELOC, your pathway to financial freedom. You get and remember, this is a loan. HELOC or equity loan is not something that is free. you will be making payment on them every month. HELOC, if you don't use it, you don't pay. But once you open equity loan, your payment started the following month. Now you take that kind of money that other people use to be financially free to go and buy a car, to go and go to Dubai, go to Bahamas, go to vacation somewhere, very luxurious places, place that you can on a normal day you cannot afford. It is okay to treat yourself out, but when you are breaking bank or you are going into debt to do it, it is not okay. That is the definition of the other thing. I don't want to say it, but you don't do that. If you are coming to do the Talk podcast, that means there's only one thing. You are interested in becoming financial free in the near future, because that is what we preach here. If you do it right, you can be financially free soon. So one of the things that we frown against is what I'm discussing right now. Buying things to impress people, buying things that you don't need. Ibrahim, I experimented something last year. For the entire 2023, I didn't go into a shop to buy a clothes, to buy any clothes for the entire year. Do you notice it, Ibrahim? Because a lot of things that we buy is for other people, not for us. I was able to sustain myself, look good with the clothes that I have in my closet already for the entire year. I literally, I got to like 8 months and I look back and I'm like, I haven't been to shop this year and nobody knows. So what am I saying is you don't get HELOC or equity loan to buy, things that will depreciate, to buy things that doesn't bring you money, to buy things that doesn't add value to you. If you are buying real estate, I'm not a guru when it comes to buying shares, bond, crypto. But if you do those things right, there is a benefit that comes with it. There's a delayed gratification. You might not see the immediate effect now, but with time, you can use those money to build your portfolio. You can use those money to drag yourself out of rat race. We all have a job that we hate. We all have a boss that we don't like seeing. We all have a friend that we see at job that we just, it's just a total negative of what we believe in. But you keep up, you are able to put up with them because you don't have any option. A lot of time we wake up on our bed just to go to work, even though we don't want to stand up. We don't want to wake up at that time. But if you don't go, you don't make money. So there's a motivation that push us out of bed against our will. But if you want to change that and you have equity, then you go and buy a car to impress someone that doesn't care about you. That is insane to me. So you don't use equity loan. You don't use equity you have in your house. You don't use HELOC that you have against the equity in your house, because you don't, let me finish that statement. You don't use those things to buy something that doesn't bring you money. You make an investment for you to get that money. How about you keep making such investments and doubling down on it, doubling down on it, doubling down on it? And guess what? Bank are in the business of loaning you money. They do some investments, but they will like you to go out there. They build army of people. They loan you money, you go out, you make your money, and you pay them back too. That is how they make their money too. And it is very, very effective in this country. It is very, very effective. It's absolutely effective in this country. They don't even want to see you go bankrupt. They actually want to see you succeed. Because guess what? They make money when you make money.
100%.
So you have a perfect system to grow. Don't choose to remain the same. Don't choose to go and buy a car that you don't need. You actually going the car is actually draining your account, because now you have to pay insurance, you have to register this car every year, you have to do maintenance, and this car is just sitting in your garage because you have many of them already. There's no reason for that. If a car is working, can take you from point A to point B, in my opinion, there's no reason to change it. If you are not going to the mechanic shop, if it is taking you to mechanic shop every week, then you might consider changing it, because you don't want to be spending. We are against preventable spending. If you can prevent it, by all means prevent it. So if a car is taking you to a mechanic shop every week, change it. But if a car is not giving you problem, forget about the look, and it's taking you from point A to point B, keep it and save all your money and invest those money. So this is pretty much the first investment you make. Now you've seen it yourself. It's not as if we are telling you and you are not a believer. You've bought the first house, the house has appreciated, and you have seen it yourself. Now you can take a loan against that. That is what we are talking about today. Taking a loan against that is what we are advising, and making sure the money you're going to be paying is lower than the cash flow that will be coming in from your investment. As long as that works, buy the next investment. Buy the not so good house in a good neighborhood. It's going to work out, because that is where the real appreciation comes in. And don't worry about the $100, $200 that you are making right now. That the where the wealth in real estate is built in appreciation. So I can't emphasize this enough. Always make sure you outsource your risk. Outsourcing your risk is you are not using your all your money to invest. You are actually borrowing some. That is what I mean by outsourcing your risk. Because if you pay down your house and God forbid something tragic happens to it, you don't have proper coverage, that's all your egg in one basket. But if you have 100 doors, 100 houses, and one of it happens the way you want to be, you'll be like, well, it's just one. So you outsource your risk. You don't just put all your egg in one basket. That is one. And I mentioned something, buy a not so good house in a good neighborhood. That is also learning from others. So you are actually leveraging others, because single family or small multi-family, they are value based on the surrounding neighbors. They are value based on the surrounding sales. So if you buy something that is cheap in a good neighborhood, guess what? Very soon they are going to be valuing your house with the sales in the area, which is going to be for the good houses. So Ibrahim mentioned that as well. And also linear versus exponential. I just mentioned this as well. Linear versus exponential, when you build multiple, then you outsource your risk because you are not putting basket. That's one. Also, you are able to grow faster. You are able to grow faster than you are riding, just one vehicle, just one house. So these are the things that I think you shouldn't use your money for. If you want to get a equity loan, ELOC, make sure you have a plan to buy real estate, because very soon you will be able to have equity on both. Then you are growing wealth, you are building wealth. That is what we preach on Do the Talk. So Ibrahim, there is this misconception around that, if you get uh loan on your house, you are at risk of losing your house. Is that true?
So if you get a, I think to some extent, um, if you look at it, you are at risk, but you are at risk even without doing it.
Hmm.
I guess the reason why people see that as a risk is because they look at it this way. If you already have a debt, a mortgage, and the mortgage is maybe $1,000 a month. Now, because you have tons of equity, you tap into that equity. Now you have like a second mortgage, okay, and that is like maybe $500. So it means you have to find $500 to satisfy the two, the first and the second mortgage. Okay. Now, if you look at it deeply, not peripherally, you realize that people that are thinking that way are people that are very pessimistic. They are not, they are not a go-getter, because first of all, the property you are using the second one for, which is the second mortgage, you are not just getting that ELOC or home equity line of credit, or home equity loan because you want to buy a boat. You are not doing that because you want to organize a big birthday party. You are not doing that because you want to buy a big Mercedes Benz. You are actually doing that. You actually took out the loan because you want to buy another asset. And by the way, the first asset, the first house you have, it's technically not an asset. That's like it's a liability, because you are paying mortgage on that house. If you think deeply, you are actually doing yourself and your family a favor if you use it right, because now you have an asset alongside your liability. So technically, that asset, if you use it right, you have been coming to do the talk. You learn from people. You connect with property manager, a good real estate agent. You are actually going to make money. Getting cash flow that will help you. In fact, that will help you secure your liability. Because let's say you have a little disability, maybe short term, and you couldn't work. Guess what? Your asset will pay your liability. I'll give you guys example. I don't have no disability, but I'll give you example. I have a property that technically every month I'm getting more than $2,000. Now imagine, let's say I cannot work for a month. My mortgage is less than 2 grand. My primary home. So technically, I can use that money to pay my mortgage.
Yep.
But if I think peripherally and be like, oh, I don't want to, just peripheral thinking, not deep thinking, just like, oh, I don't want to take any risk. Da, 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 da. It means if I cannot work, something happened. We don't pray for that. I don't pray for that, but nobody knows. So it means I won't be able to pay my mortgage. However, you have the opportunity to use that equity to create a continuous stream of income, passive income,
Yeah.
that will pay that mortgage the time you are, or the period when you cannot. So a lot of people look at it like, okay, my mortgage is 1,000. I'm just repeating what I said, and this is 500. Now it's about 1,500 that I have to work on and make sure I pay every month. Why don't you do? Why? I will encourage people to quit looking at it that way. I want you to look at it in a reverse. Like, okay, I have $1,000 that I'm paying on my primary home. I'm gonna have $500 that I'm gonna pay on my second mortgage. However, I have 2,300 cash flow, or $2,000 cash flow that's gonna be coming in from this stream of income that I just created with my equity. So it means from that 2,000 something, you can pay your 500, and you can actually pay your mortgage.
Yep.
So why the analysis paralysis when the math is there? It's about math. The math is there. The strategy is there. Okay, what about I have vacancy? Okay, you have vacancy. Okay, you have vacancy for 1 month, 2 months. Okay, what about think about the 2,000 times 12? That's 24 grand.
Yep.
Okay, because of vacancy, it's about 9 months. Okay, you have 3 month vacancy. Okay, 2,000 times nine. That's still 18,000. You're gonna pay your mortgage. You're still going to pay your second mortgage, and you will be fine. And guess what? That new property is building equity as well.
Yeah.
So after a few years, you can refinance that one, refinance your primary home again. You buy another one again.
Yep.
So honestly, fear is our big enemy. We always say, I do the talk. We are not telling you to just go randomly, blindly, and do something. No, do your assignment, do the math. If the math is there, you see that the business, the strategy you are going for, it's gonna work just because you follow the data, you talk to a good real estate broker, you talk to a good property manager, they both confirm that yes, the market is there, the math is working. Go ahead, get that property, use that equity. Sitting in the bank doing nothing won't benefit you or your family.
Yep.
It's just gonna sit there. And by the way, because you take equity does not mean you're gonna have that car crash or you're gonna have that disability. No, you take it or not. If you're gonna be disabled, you're gonna be disabled.
Yep.
Because some people, when you tell them about business, that's when they think about, oh, what about if I cannot work? What about if I'm sick? What about even if you don't take that equity, you're gonna be sick. If you're gonna be sick, you're gonna have. We don't pray for all this bad stuff. So here we are very positive. But I'm going into this because some people, whenever you talk about business idea, you bring a good strategy in, try to enlighten them and put them into it and show them this is a way to move forward, to scale up. That's when they're gonna start telling you, okay, what about if I don't see this? What about it? What about what? What about you sit down there, you don't make any money, and just sit down there, your equity is just sitting in the bank. The bank actually it's not even sitting. Come on, bro. Your equity is even being used by the bank. They're using
Yep.
your equity to make money. And you sit down there and you scared, oh, if I use it, this. Calm down. You have to go for it. Do the math, talk to people, make sure this strategy is gonna work for you. And if it's gonna work for you, the math is clear and clean, go for it. Do it. Take the risk. If you cannot take risk, you cannot grow. That's the
Yep.
fact. That is the fact. So I don't know if I answer your question, Ahmed. The truth is, the way people look at it, they feel like, okay, I have a debt. Now I'm gonna have another debt. Now I have to make sure I satisfy the two debt. Yes. However, you have to think beyond the two debt. You have to
Yep.
think about what is the reward if I, you know, get this other debt. If I, tap into my equity, what is the benefit? If the benefit outweigh the risk, which is I have another $500, second mortgage, then what is the problem? Because you're gonna pay that one. In fact, you have extra money to even pay your real mortgage. So technically, now you have, your primary home is even more secure now because now you have an asset that will pay the two of them. Versus when you only pay 1,000, and by the way, you're not thinking about you're gonna be sick then. But until when they tell you that, or you're not thinking about, oh, if there's a disability, or if there's this, if there's that, or if I lose my job, you're not thinking about that then. But when they bring a business strategy to you where you
Yep.
can cover all your primary home, your debt, your liability, everything, That's when you think about, oh, what about this vacancy? Oh, what about if I can't work? So where am I going? A lot of people think about the worst, and I'm not saying don't think about what can potentially happen that might, affect your business. However, you don't let that cripple you. You don't let that keep you immobile. You don't let that paralyzes you. So, Ahmed, I don't know what can you add to this, because I
Yes,
feel
I
like,
actually have a comment to that.
yes,
So
right.
very, very, very good analogy, and you explain everything in details. And you see, the reason why we advise you not to use that money to go and buy Lamborghini, buy Ferrari, to go and buy Benz, to go and buy all these big, big car is because they can be a liability. I said can be because you can change it
Yeah,
if you know how to.
yeah.
You can change it. However, a lot of time, 9 out of 10 people go on that route because we have someone we want to impress, because we want to have that feeling I'm riding the best car in the neighborhood. Because who cares? Your bank account is zero, you are riding Ferrari. What sense does that make? Right? So if you are not scared, if you are not scared to take that kind of a risk, something that give you aspirable pleasure, because you can well, maybe you can sleep in your Ferrari, keep sleeping in it. So something that only when you drive it makes you feel good, it makes you, that kind of money is not what you use for that. So I was watching a video where a guy gave a bag to someone, and he said, I'm gonna say this for you, 10,000. And the other guy was like, how will I buy just a bag with $10,000? And it's like, okay, that is where you are poor. And he walked away. And the other guy called him back, like, what do you mean that is why I'm poor? He said, your poor mind only see what is in front of you. Instead of you to ask what is in that bag that make it worth $10,000. And he opened the bag, he brought out $100,000 from the bag. And he said, if you had asked me, I would have told you there's 100,000 in this bag. That is why I want to sell it for you 10,000. So we always want that immediate result, immediate feelings of, oh, I'm this, I'm that. No,
Security.
yes, it's about the future. It's about what tomorrow holds. It's about how you are going to be financially secure in the future. It's about your kids, your grandkids, your great grandkid praying for you. If you are alive or dead, they will be praying for you. You know what? My great grandpa did this. My great grandpa did that. My great grandpa. That is what it's about. So don't be selfish and squander the opportunity that you can take, the chance you can take to pull the entire generation out of pauper, out of struggling, out of being frustrated, out of causing why they were born in the first place. You have the chance. Don't blow it. And coming to do the talk, I believe you have the faith already. You have the passion. You have the belief that you can do it. I'm telling you right now, you can do it. And you see, Ibrahim is not flashing Ferrari. I'm not flashing anything. It's not about those. It's about you having peace of mind, not seeing a bill of 10,000 and started crying, not seeing someone call. You be like, oh my God, these people are calling again. Not being scared when
So,
you see bills, when you see responsibility. I know what I'm talking about. I used to be very scared. When I see things come my way that's like 2,000, 3,000, I'll be like, oh man, this again. I feel so scared that I want to pee inside my pint. That is what it's not okay, it's not all right. You have the freedom of taking yourself out of that right now by using your equity judiciously, the right way. And not just you have the right to take the entire generation out of this, because now you have the knowledge, you have the foundation. Just start applying it, then your kids will follow the suit, then from there everybody knows the pathway. Ibrahim, we are running up on time. Thank you guys for joining. By the way, before I pass it to you, Ibrahim, we are going to be going on the offline coming few weeks now. We are going to be doing this offline, and we will just be dropping the recording because we want to improve the quality and give you guys what you guys deserve, right? We feel like we owe you guys that much, and we are going to be taking steps to get that to you as even faster, better, more clearer, and more concise information than you can ever imagine. So thank you guys for sticking with us this far. We are going to upgrading soon. Ibrahim, anything before we wrap up?
No, I want to thank our audience and just want to let you know that we are committed. And every Friday, um, I'm not sure, are we gonna be doing every Friday? Because we want to upgrade and we want to, fine tune everything and make it more, appealing, more, nice for you guys because we see that we have to upgrade and also make everyone, you know, want you to feel that we want you to see and feel that improvement. So we will come up with a date. I don't know if it's gonna be every Friday. We'll talk about that, but we'll let you guys know for sure.
Absolutely.
The upgrade is coming, and you'll definitely see it. Um, but about this topic, I feel like we need to talk about this topic another day because it is so powerful. I mean, for real, a lot of people have this equity, but they just scared of like, okay, if I lose my job and this and that. But what I want us to really let people know that if you use it right, use it judicially, just like Ahmed said, it's actually going to create that security that you really need. Your job is not, I mean, nobody's job is really like 100% secure.
No.
That's the fact. But when you have asset coming in, like you're getting cash flow from this asset that is appreciating, that is giving you money every month, that
Yep.
asset is going to provide that security, mental security,
Yep.
financial security.
Yep.
So we're gonna go back to this topic one day, and because I feel like it's a very important topic. So we are the time is this is 9 p.m. Ahmed, how can our audience, if they want to consult you and get some idea on how they can get started or what to do, how can they reach out to you, please?
Absolutely. You can reach me on my Instagram account. It's official Ahmed Lawal. That's my business account. I have a personal one as well. You can reach me on TikTok, ACO Property Management, and you can reach me on my cell phone number, which is 765-240-7932. Ibrahim, people want to buy houses. They don't know how to go about it. I know you can help them, but how can they reach you?
Yeah, they can call me, 317-728-0213. If you are a social media person, go to ibrealtors.us. If you really want to, see what you like, I mean, dig into the houses in Indiana, you want to learn more on, all the houses in different areas, what they look like, the price range, I recommend you go to ibrealtor.us. You don't have to
Yeah.
type www, it's an old school thing. Just type ibrealtor.us.
It's scrolling on
IB
the screen right
Realtors,
now.
yeah, ibrealtors.us. You will get to my website, and from that website, it's very resourceful. You'll see a lot of stuff. And by the way, you know, we're gonna upgrade the website where you're gonna get, for someone who wants to see how he or she can get a property manager, it's gonna be there. Just click on it, and you see that a resourceful and a knowledgeable and respected property management company will pop up, and you can call them or contact them from there. So it's gonna be comprehensive and a well resourceful website. So I
Absolutely.
recommend you go there and see for yourself. See for yourself.
Absolutely. All
Thank you
right,
kindly.
guys. This is going to be the end of today's episode. I really enjoyed it myself. I know you guys do as well. So we will see you guys next week. Be safe.
All right.